What's going on, New York Giants fans? Welcome to another video from Hit Squad Productions. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, leave a like below, and follow us on Twitter. The link is in the description. We have a ton of news to go over today. As you guys know, a bunch of things went down with the New York Giants. We had some cuts, some players that, ended up making the practice squad as they cleared waivers. There was some players that got picked up on waivers by other teams that we had cut. We're also going to go over not only the practice squad, but 3 players that the New York Giants claimed off of waivers. Actually, I believe 4 players that the New York Giants claimed so far on waivers and how I think they can actually help the New York Giants. So let's break this down, right? So the New York Giants, obviously the most notable ones that we had cut was David Sills, CJ Board, Trent Harris, Dante Pettis. They were cut. However, per Dan Dugan, the Giants actually announced that they re-signed CJ Board and long snapper Casey Kreider because they decided to put wide receiver John Ross and linebacker Elerson Smith on the injured reserve list. Now, John Ross is going to be on there for his hamstring. Not really surprised there because, as you guys know as fans, John Ross has always had an issue with his hamstring. He's a talented guy when he's healthy, but that's his issue. He's never healthy, and that was kind of my issue when we signed him. I recognize the talent. However, to me, I understand, a player like Adoree Jackson where you could take a risk on that, but hamstrings they're different. When you have players like, you can even throw Kenny Golladay in that conversation. But when you have players like John Ross that, they have such athletic ability, but their injuries hold them back, especially the hamstring, which is a very tricky injury to come back from. Those kind of injuries linger. They linger and they keep the players out longer than really what they see the field. And it's really unfortunate because John Ross is a very talented player. Now, Ellison Smith, he's been injured pretty much all offseason, man. I mean, I had some hope for Ellison Smith. I still do, but it's been, a little frustrating not seeing him on the field because I really do think that, on the field, his technique and the way that Patrick Graham could scheme him, Ellison Smith, I could see him having 4 to 5 sacks this year, which is, a lot for where we selected him, in my opinion. But, we haven't been able to see him, but putting them on the injured reserve list, it's, hey, it happens. So we re-signed CJ Board and long snapper Casey Kreider. It's all good. Now, we're going to go over the practice squad because these are the rest of the players that we had cut and were able to clear waivers and make it to the New York Giants practice squad. So we have running back Sandro Platzgummer, wide receiver Matt Cole, wide receiver David Sills, which thank God because the David Sills army was going to lose their minds if someone else had picked him up or if the New York Giants didn't claim him. Wide receiver Damon Willis, tight end Nakia Griffin-Stewart, tight end Jake Hausman, who I'm thinking of another tight end, that has familiarity with Joe Judge. Offensive line Kenny Wiggins, offensive lineman Jackson Barton, offensive line Jake Burton, offensive lineman Brett Heggie, defensive lineman David Moore, who I really wanted the New York Giants to keep on the roster, which thankfully we're able to get him on the practice squad. He has some potential, man. I mean, I really thought that could be a player in rotation, to replace Dalvin Tomlinson down there with, Dexter Lawrence and them. But we also have defensive lineman Willie Henry, linebacker Nico Lelos, and safety Jordan Peters. Now, on top of that, the New York Giants went out and got running back Dexter Williams, tight end Ryan Izzo, who actually has familiarity with Joe Judge back in New England, and tight end Chris Merrick, who made that unbelievable catch in Miami against, I believe it was the Bengals, on that pretty much you could call it like a Hail Mary. But, there's some talent there. And I told you guys, the Giants were going to go out there and pick up some tight ends because right now we're only carrying 3. We don't know how Kyle Rudolph is looking. He's looking decent, but we haven't really seen him on the field. Evan Ingram, we don't know the severity to his calf injury. The Giants have been very close to the vest about that. And that can be concerning, but it seems, like he's going along fine, but we have to see how that plays out. But I fully expected the New York Giants to go out there and pick up 2, not 2 specifically, but at least go out there and get a tight end to just at least, be up there with Caden Smith and Kyle Rudolph if need be. So I like that. But I do want to say this much, right? this isn't finished. This is not finished at all. Some of these players can get cut for other players that we may claim on waivers. I fully expect the New York Giants to go out there and try to at least address the offensive line. I understand that we got some on the practice squad, but I feel like especially since Shane Lemieux, as you guys know, has, I think it's a slightly torn patella. Jesus Christ. I believe that's what it is. It's very similar to what Victor Cruz had. But, they're saying, he went to practice today. I don't want him to really play that much, which makes the trade that we did with Baltimore for their guard a lot more sense. Because right now, I don't think the New York Giants want to risk Shane Lemieux's health. And I really think that right now, in the best interest of not only the Giants, but for Shane Lemieux, I would not be surprised if they placed him on the injured reserve before week 1. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'm being honest with you. But, yeah. Now, let's get on to the 3 signings that I personally love it. I love it so much. And I think that one of the players all of the Giants Nation seem to be going crazy over. So we're going to go over this. We got linebackers Justin Hillard, who came from the San Francisco 49ers. He was a stud during the preseason. He played the run fairly well, which is kind of what we need because we're kind of lacking in depth at linebacker. We also went and got Quincy Roche, who I didn't personally have the New York Giants selecting him, but I did respect the talent that he brings because he was regarded as one of the better edge rushers in this class. And, he looked solid with Pittsburgh, but the thing with Pittsburgh, which, hey, if you're like me, I love defense. They have a beautiful problem where they have too much depth at their edge and linebacker positions. So it's kind of shocking that they released him. I believe they drafted him in the 6th round, but I think Patrick Graham could get so much talent out of this kid, and I'm very excited to see him on the field. And we also have wide receiver Colin Johnson. Now, Colin Johnson, he's from the Jacksonville Jaguars, as you guys know, or if you didn't know, and he balled out with Mike Lennon, actually, against the Browns. He had a solid touchdown, I believe it was for 47 yards, but he had 90 yards in total that game. I mean, he's going to be a nice player on the practice squad. I really do think that, and hopefully he can make his way somehow on this roster. But I don't really want to see him on the field because that means that we have some players that are injured. So I'm kind of good off of that. But honestly, man, you put in a player like Quincy Roche down there with Azeez Ojulari and Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. I mean, man, that's a force, man. I mean, Quincy Roche has a nice bend to him. I mean, he has good hand placements. He could really push guys off of the line. I really liked Quincy Roche out of Miami. And honestly, I knew some people, which I don't fully agree with this, but I understand why they had this method of thinking, where some people had Quincy Roche kind of up there with Gregory Rousseau, considering the fact that not a lot of people saw Gregory Rousseau as a first-round talent. Some people saw him in the 2nd round. Some people saw him towards the ending of the 2nd round, going into the 3rd round, which I don't personally agree with that. I definitely thought he was an early 2nd-round pick, but we got some talent, man. I'm really excited to see what the New York Giants do next. Obviously, this roster isn't done yet, but I'm very excited to see what the New York Giants do. We got some talent on this roster. I'm very excited, man. But let me know your guys' thoughts below. Let me know about what you guys think about the players that we picked up, the players on the practice squad. What were some players that you were kind of shocked to see that got claimed off waivers? Me personally, I thought... Oddly enough, I thought, Dallas picking up Corey Clement was very shocking, considering the fact that they have Tony Pollard back there. But, hey, look, that's a nice trio right there because Corey Clement wasn't no scrub. I actually wanted him to make the roster over Gary Brightwell. But, hey, a judge knows more than I do. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So let me know your thoughts below. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you.